Guys, I want to walk you through the 5 worst coaching decisions that I could come up with last night and today. And then I want you guys to just start me off. Am I making too much of Rick Carlisle? Is he a candidate to be in the top 5, top 10 of bad coaching decisions? Am I going too far? So let me start by dating myself. Not that I was alive in 1960, but I'm a historian. I know everything about sports. So in 1960, the New York Yankees versus the Pittsburgh Pirates in the World Series. Casey Stengel has a pitcher by the name of Whitey Ford, and he's great. He doesn't start him in game 1. Whitey Ford ends up pitching 2 games and winning both in shutouts in that series. But the Pirates won the series in 7 games. Bill Mazeroski hit a historic and infamous home run. Casey Stengel, the old professor, not starting Whitey Ford in 1960. In 2003, you guys probably remember this, Grady Little left Pedro Martinez out there in 2003 after the guy had thrown 100 pitches. The Yankees end up scoring late, I think 3 runs late, and take it into extra innings, win in 11 innings in 2003. This is something Bill Simmons will never forget. Here's something Marcellus Wiley will never forget. In 1999, Buffalo Bills head coach Wade Phillips decided to start Rob Johnson over Doug Flutie, despite Doug Flutie starting 15 of the 16 regular season games. In a meaningless game at the end of the season, Rob Johnson's played, had a great game, and the next thing you know, Wade Phillips replaces Flutie as the starting quarterback. Tennessee loses in the playoffs in the Music City Miracle to the Tennessee Titans. I've already mentioned in 2014, Pete Carroll not giving the ball to Marshawn Lynch. And, of course, I've mentioned Bill Belichick benching Malcolm Butler. Steve, I'll start with you first because you're a historian like myself. Is Rick Carlisle a candidate to join the all-time great bad coaching decisions?
I think this is being overblown by you. I think you're letting your Pacer fanhood cloud judgment here. Look, that's a tough decision because if your best player decides, well, I'm a little sore, I can't go, well, they're going to take heat and everyone's going to question, why isn't your best player out there? We talk a lot about toughing it out. Jason, your examples are very good. I could add some other ones that I think far exceed what happened last night, right off the top of my head. Let's go back. Boston Red Sox. I'm going to further torture the Bill Simmons nation. Game 6 of the 86 World Series. Late game. Looks like the Red Sox are about to win the World Series, break the curse of the Bambino. The whole year, John McNamara kept taking out Bill Buckner at first base. He was hobbled, and they put in a very good defensive first baseman by the name of Dave Stapleton. All I have to say is 2 words. Mookie Wilson. Okay, so that's one. That's self-explanatory. I'm going to get a little historical on you because I actually did some research on this because I had to interview Jim Lampley a while back. If you go back to the Miracle on Ice, what was the big decisive move made by Tikkanen, their head coach? Took out the greatest goaltender in hockey history, Tretiak, after he gave up this late soft goal. And both players from both sides said, oh, my God, you opened the door for the U.S. And to this day, this guy still takes heat. Now, give you one more, and this hits close to home. I hate to do this, but this is how honest and fearless we are. Jimmy Johnson in the 87 Fiesta Bowl kept allowing Vinny Testaverde to throw the ball. The problem was he kept throwing the ball to Penn State. Now, Jimmy has actually admitted after the scooter accident Vinny Testaverde had, it impacted his preparation for that bowl game. If they would have started Gino Toretta's brother, who was the backup, Jeff Toretta, and they just hand the ball off to Alonzo Highsmith or Mel Bratton, they win that game by 17 points. But instead, Vinny Testaverde kept finding Shane Conlon, who unfortunately played for Penn State. I think those 3 blunders are bigger than anything that happened last night.
I remember Shane Conlon in that game well. Skap, am I making too much of Rick Carlisle's blunder here? Do you agree with Steve?
Well, Jason, it's an honor as always to be on with you, but a pleasure to be on with Steve for the first time. And unfortunately for you, Jason, I have to agree with Steve on this. I think you're making too big of an issue here with the decision by Carlisle last night, and here's why. And this is why I don't believe that decision belongs with other all-time blunderous decisions by head coaches. I think probably your best one is the foregoing Marshawn Lynch on that goal to go situation in the Super Bowl, because that, Jason, would have directly resulted in a championship win. I think I would also add on, like Steve, I want to just add a couple. I'll add two real quick here. Dan Quinn's coaching decisions in the 2017 Super Bowl when they were up 28-3 on the Patriots, when they just refused to run the clock. I mean, ultimately, they could have just taken knees throughout portions of the fourth quarter and still won that Super Bowl. That directly cost them a championship. And then if you want to go to the NBA Finals and boneheaded decisions, I'm going right to the 2013 Finals, Game 6, NBA Finals, Miami Heat, San Antonio Spurs. Spurs up 3-2 in that series, up 5 with like 20 seconds to go in Game 6. The Spurs do a myriad of things down the stretch to cost them the game, but most prominently, LeBron James jacks up and misses what should have been the series-losing three-point shot. But Greg Popovich had pulled Tim Duncan, put in Boris Diaw. There were no rebounders underneath. Chris Bosh snares the offensive rebound, kicks it out to Ray Allen, who hits the game tire, and then, of course, Miami wins that championship. Those games and those decisions, Jason, directly cost championships. You're inferring a lot here that if Halliburton is sat for the whole fourth quarter, that under TJ McConnell's stewardship, they would have then went on to win this, not only win this game in the last 8 minutes, but then they would have won one of the last 2 games to win the NBA championship. There's a lot of ifs and things that have to happen still for them to win a championship, even if they bench Halliburton, where in some of these other situations, it directly and undoubtedly cost them a championship.
Both of you are wrong.
What?
I hear you. You've made great arguments. You've said things that are interesting and brought up great reference points. But you're telling me a coach that is sitting there watching that game, watching TJ McConnell do what no one else on the Pacers had done through 3.5 quarters, go out and create their own shot and knock down those shots consistently in a 4.5-minute stretch. You got a 4.5-minute clip of like, oh, this is our guy tonight. This is the guy, this is what's been killing us. We don't have enough shot creators. We can move the ball around. We can get offensive rebounds. Pascal Siakam can occasionally create his own shot, but he's a turnover machine because he's a little bit outside of his element. The one element the Pacers have needed for 2 years is a shot creator, and there's a little white dude that's been doing it for 2 years, but because he's a midget and because he's not as good overall as Tyrese Halliburton, we're not going to him. But I want to show you this little clip because this isn't just about Halliburton. And this when you have this kind of evidence that like, oh, he's the solution tonight. It's in your face. That guy's the solution. Let's even take Marshawn Lynch, which I disagree with you as like that's the greatest example. He hadn't been good in short yardage situations all year. The statistics and the proof document, there was no guarantee they were going to score that touchdown if they gave it to Marshawn Lynch, but I'm not going to argue that detail. But here's Nembhard, because it wasn't just Halliburton that was a hot mess. I want to play you this little 30-second, I think it's a 30-second clip of Nembhard just pooping all over himself and all over the Pacers. You could have kept Halliburton out there with TJ McConnell and just set Nembhard down, who couldn't guard anybody last night, and he damn sure couldn't make any shots, and he was a turnover machine. Let's play the clip.
Shot clock at 10. Halliburton in the corner. Nembhard, three-pointer. Some very important minutes right now. Nembhard. Stolen. Wallace with the steal. Pressure is a privilege, is what he says. Ball knocked away by Caruso. Dives up. A masterpiece. Nembhard blocked by It's now stolen by SG.
That's just in the fourth quarter. They had one solution, and Rick Carlisle refused to go to that one solution. Skap, just very quick, respond to that. Just you could have played T.J. McConnell for 3 different players in the fourth quarter. Instead, he stuck with Nembhard, Halliburton, Mathurin, all these. Obi Toppin didn't get enough minutes. Rick Carlisle, who I love, who I think is the best NBA coach of the past 2 decades, he pooped his pants last night. Don't miss a second of Fearless. Hit that like button and subscribe to keep up with our latest content.